32 home runs, the All-American Caroline Wong, along with Carly Goodwin and Michaela Ward. The big home run hitters in this lineup for an Oklahoma State team, which, as you mentioned, is back at the World Series for a 5th consecutive time. And they'll meet Keegan Rothrock, who's at the World Series for the 1st consecutive time. 30-7, 30 wins, nearly 235 innings as a true freshman.
Taking the bulk of the innings this season and in the NCAA tournament. And a great job as a freshman.
Keegan Rothrock and Lexi Kilfoyle, the pitching matchup. Freshman of the Year finalist, Player of the Year finalist. And two dynamic offenses. Away we go under the lights in Oklahoma City with a strike to the red-hot senior Jillian Poulard. 8:52 local time, our first pitch. The sun setting here in Oklahoma City, where the game time temperature is a spectacular 72 degrees. Where would you rather be than right here, right now? On Poulard, who knocks one foul at the plate. Jillian Poulard's had a crazy NCAA tournament. 6 out of 14, 5 extra base hits, 2 doubles and 3 homers. She's also walked 5 times. That's postseason OPS of 1793. Oh! And Rothrock misses down and away to her. Keegan Rothrock has started every single postseason game for Florida. SEC tournament, regionals, super regionals, and now the Women's College World Series. Poulard with a ground ball to second. Mia Williams, a freshman, has time.
When Keegan Rothrock throws with good velocity, she's going to be more of an upspin pitcher with her rise ball, but she can go to a few different pitches as well. With her curveball, she'll throw a low rise ball that comes in like a screwball, can mix in a drop ball down and change speeds, and also go to that rise ball. That is her go-to pitch. She can throw on 2 different levels and mix in that curveball, throw in the mid to upper 60s.
Rothrock with a high strike to Talon Edwards. Young third baseman for Oklahoma State. He was one of the top recruits in the nation, reclassifying to get into college last year. Part of a young and uber energetic Cowgirl team. Outside. Plate umpires John Baca tonight. He says that's ball 2. Dustin Douglas is at first, Robbie Guest at second, and Aaron Peterson walks the line at third. Oh, 3-1 to Talon Edwards. Oklahoma State team with 24 players on the roster. 15 are either freshmen or sophomores, so this may be as surprising as any of the last 5 teams to make the World Series. Oh, and Edwards is on to the wall. Tosses her bat aside as the game's first base runner.
There's a close pitch. Good eye there by Talon Edwards. I think that pitch was about a ball off the plate. Always is tricky with the angle that our center field camera is at. Those pitches that are about a ball off may look like they're on, but didn't catch the plate.
Team leader in walks with her 27th. And now Caroline Wong. Wong, the only offensive All-American for Oklahoma State this season. Graduate transfer from Liberty in her first and only year in Stillwater. .380 batting average, .726 slugging percentage lead the Cowgirls, 17 home runs, the most of any Oklahoma State player. Wong with a little jam shot to Williams at second. Be a lot more orange than blue in this stadium tonight, although Florida probably feels right at home seeing orange in the stands. Stillwater, Oklahoma, not far down the road from here at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. Right now it's a 56-minute drive with no tolls. 2-0 for Carly Godwin.
One thing that you'll notice about Oklahoma State, and especially a hitter like Carly Godwin, all these hitters swing so hard. They do not hold back. They're very aggressive. They're very powerful, and they do not shy away from getting their best swing off.
Kenny Gajewski is 9th year at Oklahoma State. Every year to the NCAA tournament, 5 in a row to the World Series, and a freshman record 15 home runs for Godwin. Now making her 60th straight start. Right near the knees, 2-2.
It's a great pitch in terms of that location, just a little bit off the plate, and right spotting that pitch right at the knees. That pitch is hard to get your barrel down to.
Working with maybe the best receiving catcher in the country, Jocelyn Erickson back there, who will turn just about any close pitch into a strike. Transfer from Oklahoma, who was the SEC Player of the Year in part for her offense, in part for her amazing defense. Left-handed catcher. 3-2 for Carly Godwin.
You think about the job, Kevin, that both of these coaches have done in the transfer portal. Impact players mixed with new faces and freshmen like a Carly Godwin.
And Godwin takes ball 4. So Keegan Rothrock has walked 2 Cowgirls in the first inning.
And Skylar Wallace coming over to talk to Keegan Rothrock, the freshman. That's a senior, your shortstop, a leader on the infield right away. She's been more vocal this year. She's been a more vocal leader on the infield, especially with the young pitching staff of Keegan Rothrock and Ava Brown.
Strike 1 to the freshman Rosie Davis. Davis, little jam shot, and is going to be caught at short by Wallace. We'll see Skylar Wallace bat third for the Gators in the bottom of the first. Americans good. Not 1 for Florida, not 2, not 3. They actually have 5. Keegan Rothrock and the circle is the other, but the 2, 3, 4, and 5 hitters were all named All-Americans. 1 off the program record for Tim Walton's Gators. Speaking of All-Americans, Lexi Kilfoyle, a National Player of the Year finalist. Only Nigel Kennedy has a better ERA in Division I.
And they've used her to start games. They've felt comfortable using her in relief more this season, but she'll mix her changeup and her drop. She will live at the bottom part of the zone and work the corners with her drop ball and her changeup. We have seen a lot of rise balls up to this point in the night session, and Lexi Kilfoyle is going to move that rise ball out of the way and present you her heavy drop ball, and this a deceptive changeup that she will mix in there as well. She will throw in the upper 60s. Going to create a lot of ground ball outs for her infield.
A fantastic matchup we have on hand as Kilfoyle begins it with a drop ball down and away to Kendra Falby. No team in college softball swings less frequently than the Florida Gators. So you have an insanely patient team. A Florida team that is second in the nation in walks behind Oklahoma, and you have a pitcher who has some of the nastiest movement down. Can Kilfoyle get the Gators to bite? Falby swings there, and there's a swing and a miss. There's that heavy drop. The lowest swing rate in the country, only 36% of the pitches they see. Chase rate, that's pitches outside the zone. They only swing 17% of the time outside the strike zone.
Oh. And you might be wondering, like, is this a just this year thing for Florida? And it's like, no, this is a all the time thing for a Tim Walton offense. They know their strike zone. They are very disciplined. They know what they're looking for. They are very well prepared.
NFCA Hall of Famer, inductee this year, and Falby swings and foul tips one into the mid of long. So it's Kilfoyle with a K to start the night.
And this is a serious drop ball. She went right at Falby with this drop ball. Look at the down movement. The toughest part about her drop ball, too, is that Kilfoyle stands at over 6 feet tall. So it starts at a higher level, and it can fall off the table. That is why it is a heavy drop ball, along with the velocity that she throws it at.
Ball one to Corbiotis as the All-American Brigade begins for Florida. You want patience? You got patience right here. Batting average 449. That seems pretty good. Oh, ground ball to the pitcher here, and Kilfoyle will throw her out. Going to say the on-base percentage is .584. You just don't get Corbiotis out very often. But Kilfoyle's drop ball is heavy tonight.
Now batting indicator, shortstop number 17, Skylar Wallace.
So here's a matchup of two of the nation's best at what they do. Skylar Wallace inspiring heads on sticks in the stands. The former Alabama Crimson Tide players together for a few brief moments in that 2020 season. And Skylar has gone absolutely bananas in the month of May.
Oh. And it's like 605. Oh, is that her slugging percentage? Oh, no. Her batting average in the month of May.
Her NCAA tournament, 10 for 15. 3 extra base hits, 5 walks. Reaching base 3/4 of the time. Oh. First one up and out of the zone by Kilfoyle. Florida really didn't play that well against Baylor in the Super Regional. Tim Walton thought they were a little nervous. Skylar Wallace played well. How to hit the rest of her team by more than 400 points.
A change up there, and she's seen a lot more drop balls this year. She was pitched a little bit differently. Pitchers throwing her more in and more drop balls. Last year she saw a drop ball 15% of the time. This year seen a drop ball 27% of the time.
2-2 pitch on the ground to third. Edwards backs up, and one All-American gets another as Kilfoyle fells Wallace. Scoreless after one in OKC.
Practicing in the backyard, which for Keegan meant breaking a lot of things, not only in her backyard, but in the neighbor's backyard, decks, fences. We asked her, well, how do you break a deck? She said, I don't know, but I did it. Thank goodness it was my mom's best friend's fence that I broke. So I got a little bit of, off easy on that one. She's played for the Indiana Gators growing up, and she wanted to stay a Gator, which led her to Gainesville. She went down there for a camp when she was about 10 years old. They drove by the stadium. She fell in love with it, and since then knew she wanted to wear the orange and blue. Now, there was a turning point for Coach Walton when it came to his confidence in Keegan Rothrock in the circle. Going back to the SEC tournament this past year, just a couple weeks ago, in the championship game against Missouri, he said he walked up to Keegan, he said, do you want the ball today? She said, I better get the ball today. He added, she wasn't thrilled about not getting SEC Freshman of the Year. A little PO'd. I like that.
Ball. Yeah, she is some kind of a competitor, Alyssa, and I love that story that you mentioned. Tim Walton told us, I thought we'd done enough to lock up a top 8 seed. by the time we got that Missouri game. Florida gets the 4 ultimately. So we didn't have to use her necessarily. Claire Tim into left field. Flies out to Corbiotis. It was pretty clear from her response he was going to use her. She started every game in this postseason run now for Florida, and she's been brilliant just about every one of them.
Yeah, and I think that you've really seen her grow in the toughness part of her game and understand what it's like to pitch at this college level as a freshman and have some great games and then have some tough games where she gets hit a little bit harder. But it's been all about her rebound and still continuing to want the ball, even maybe after a tough inning where she gives up more runs than she wanted to. She is still the pitcher that wants the ball in the big games and has pitched so many innings, over 200 innings for Florida this year.
Couple of strikes here on Michaela Ward. In the NCAA tournament, 28 2/3 innings for Rothrock alone. Yeah, and she goes up the ladder to strike out Ward. Keegan with her first strikeout.
And she'll talk about throwing her rise ball at 2 different levels, but this is the 3rd level that she actually has continually worked on in her freshman year. The first level is at the knees, the second level is at the belt, and the 3rd level is at the shoulders. So being able to spot her rise ball in all different planes is how she has grown this year and something that she has continually worked on.
Oh. Ball 1 to Lexi McDonald.
Number 31, Lexi McDonald.
They don't even think they've seen the best of Keegan Rothrock. Who had to battle through injuries her senior year of high school. Found out about this, a great piece that Brian Henshin wrote in the Indianapolis Star. Keegan is dealing with compartment syndrome, pain in her calves her senior year. Had to undergo surgeries to relieve pressures in her right leg and left leg January, February of that senior year of high school. Had an extremely rare infection that had to be addressed immediately, and she didn't even think she was going to play that year. She did. She dominated. She ends up at Florida after winning National Player of the Year in high school. And Tim Walton feels like there is still so much growth left for Keegan Rothrock. Getting fully healthy, getting through this incredible freshman season. You see some Kelly Barnhill in her. You see some Hannah Rogers in her. If you're a Gators fan, that's the elite of the elite. And she's thrown about 3/4 of Florida's innings here in the NCAA tournament.
One of the things that Tim Walton also told us about Keegan Rothrock was that as a young teenager, she had better spin than many starting college pitchers across the country. Amanda, I'm curious, like from someone who's seen a lot of talented pitchers and, you know, been in the circle yourself, how difficult is that to do at 12, 13 years old?
Well, it's funny that you asked because she told us that her rise ball is a work in progress, but she used a spinner, a frisbee, a football, all different items to try to correct and nail down that rise ball spin to make the spin what it is today. So she used to throw some pitches at 12 years old over the backstop, and I think every pitcher can relate to that at some point with some pitch. And she's worked tremendously hard to get that rise ball spin correct.
Oh. Up and away here, and Lexi McDonald, sophomore right fielder for the Cowgirls, has worked it full. .443 on base percentage for McDonald, highest in the lineup tonight. Been in and out of the lineup this year, but has taken control in the postseason. And McDonald hits a ground ball up the middle and through. The game's first hit belongs to Oklahoma State's number 8 hitter.
It's a great at bat by Lexi McDonald. 2-strike hit, and out and around it, but stays on it long enough to just find that hole up the middle of the field past Mia Williams. And Lexi McDonald, look at that energy about the first hit that the Cowgirls got.
Another Cowgirl having a great NCAA tournament, McDonald. Everywhere you look, Oklahoma State players are having terrific tournaments. There's a foul ball off the bat of Megan Bloodworth.
Well, I think the other thing, while we're talking about Keegan Rothrock and her rise ball, she'll also just throw 3 different speeds. You'll notice her speed vary all throughout each hitter that she faces. She'll bring it up 68, 69 with her fastball and curveball. Her rise ball is going to be somewhat of an in-between speed at 63 to 67, and then her changeup she'll drop down to 57, 58. But it's not just the velocity in her rise ball that has gotten her by, especially as a freshman pitcher pitching Division I. That's a pitch that she used to rely on all the time, but she knew she had to add different dimensions to her game.
Got a strike on the outside edge on the changeup. Rothrock, a National Freshman of the Year finalist, against Megan Bloodworth, who was a National Freshman of the Year finalist 2 years ago at Alabama. And Bloodworth goes down swinging. 2 Ks for Keegan and a scoreless second inning.
Only feeling better than going yard in front of thousands of screaming fans? Being one of those screaming fans. It's all part of the curriculum. The NCAA...
He's just a good man. He's always shot me straight. It's really cool to be able to showcase his team and our team on the stage. Just thankful for what the doors that he opened. And I'm thankful to be out of his tree.
That was yesterday. Kenny Gajewski talking about Tim Walton, his former national champion college teammate, his former national champion cohort on the Florida coaching staff in 2014 and 15, and now his opposing head coach for this World Series game. Kenny and Tim keep it lighthearted at the umpire exchange, lineup card exchange before the game. One of the really special friendships in this sport, and they've now met on the World Series stage 3 times. Kenny's Cowgirls have defeated Tim's Gators both times. Amazing to see the bond between the two, and Kenny Gajewski called Tim Walton in February after Oklahoma State was rained out of a game in the Clearwater Invitational. Florida had been rained out as well. Kenny said, hey, think we could get a game together here? And within 24 hours, they pulled together a matchup in Gainesville. Oklahoma State won it 3-0. Tim helped get support staff and the stadium doors open that day. And they have a bond that Tim Walton says it's like a brotherly bond. 1-2 for Jocelyn Erickson here.
You can tell just all the respect they have for each other. And gosh, think about how many memories that those two have with each other from playing together, coaching together, and then competing against each other.
Kenny Gajewski got into the softball coaching world at Florida. He had been a graduate assistant, Oklahoma baseball in '95. He was a volunteer assistant for Kansas State the next year. Then he was out of coaching until Tim Walton brought him on. He was a part of his staff, national championships. Got the Oklahoma State job, and here he is 9 years later, 5th straight year at the World Series. We've gotten to spend a lot of time around Kenny these last few years, and it is hard to find a more genuine human being than Kenny Gajewski, and his teams play for him with that sense of love and respect and passion. Very similar thing can be said for Tim and the program that he's built at Florida. National champions in college baseball. Tim's won a couple at softball, and Kenny's looking for his first as a headman this year. 2-2, Kilfoyle to the SEC Player of the Year, and Erickson takes in the dirt. 3-2 for Jocelyn Erickson.
You can tell that Erickson has been right on top of the plate, trying to take away that inside corner, a pitch that Lexi Kilfoyle has thrown more this year with her drop ball, is that inside hard drop, the pitch calling of her new pitching coach, Carrie Epperly.
Erickson staying back on this 3-2. 1 RBI shy of breaking the Gator record. Set by Megan Bush in 2011. First team All-American, a Rawlings Gold Glove winner, and the SEC Player of the Year. Ball. And and Erickson takes ball 4. A bold take there and a close 2-strike pitch. Jocelyn Erickson is rewarded.
Terrific at bat by Jocelyn Erickson. She battled in that at bat to draw her 39th walk of the season and get that lead off on.
The batting for Florida, number 15, Reagan Wall.
Volunteer assistant Charla Eccles, who was here with the Gators when they were here a couple of years ago over at first. And now Reagan Walsh, the 4th All-American in a row in the lineup. Walsh has had a major power season, leading the Gators with 17 home runs. Slugging percentage second only to Skylar Wallace.
He gave a lot of credit to new assistant coach at Florida, Francesca Anea, for conversations that they've had throughout the season and the way that Coach Anea or Francesca has been able to work with her throughout the year.
Beats this one into the ground to short. Bloodworth goes to second, gets the lead out there. You better be good defensively on the infield if Lexi Kilfoyle's your pitcher, and Oklahoma State is. The completely reworked infield and outfield configuration this year. There are a couple of returning starters, but no Oklahoma State player returns to start in the same position last year. Talon Edwards comes onto the dirt to play third, pushing Megan Bloodworth over to short. One strike on Katie Kistler, the Gator right fielder. Right back to Kilfoyle in the circle. That is a double play. And that is how Lexi Kilfoyle gets it done.
This is the benefit of having a drop.
Oklahoma State this year, so giddy up and follow Pistol Kenny, who had Rachel Becker and Kylie Naomi and Cheyenne Factor and Kelly Maxwell on a World Series team last year and then replaced everybody in the field. A whole new lineup. Follow the leader as to Oklahoma City with a brand new cast of characters that's led to a historic Oklahoma State season. Through 59 games, they're scoring a little bit less per game, but the home runs are way up and the pitching's better. And this is with Oklahoma State having a new starter at every position in the field this year.
Which is just insane to think about, that new faces at every single defensive position, and their pitching staff gets shook up a little bit with Lexi Kilfoyle becoming the ace and Ivy Rosenberry stepping up as well as Kyra Aycock. So some familiarity there with Kelly Maxwell departing to Oklahoma. But defensively and offensively, Kenny even said coming into the season, I have zero idea what we're going to look like.
I'll tell you what he does look like, a heck of a jockey.
That's right.
Yeah, in case this whole softball thing doesn't work out, based on that animation, he could take the lead in the Kentucky Derby. And it's only our 10th inning today. 2-1 strike to Jillian Poulard.
The part that sticks out to me, too, is that he was anxious to see what kind of team they were going to be. And he wanted to see, in his words, he wanted to see what the look in their eye was going to be. And when you hear how he talks about this team of being fearless and playing free, I'm pretty sure he has really liked the look in their eye this year. And it was a tumultuous summer. Going back to the summer, they lost a big chunk of their offense. 5 grad students, the players who had been there forever. They lost John Bargfeld. He retired, their pitching coach. Kelly Maxwell transferred. Carrie Epperly was named the pitching coach. And then in December, parted ways with their hitting coach right before the season, or right before they left for the break.
Poulard punches one into first out of the inning for Keegan Rothrock.
So along with having just a ton of new faces out on the field in different positions, they also had a different coaching staff. Now with a couple of players who played for Kenny, and Vanessa Shippey and Carrie Epperly. Still a lot of unknowns about this team, but they have made themselves known in a big way as the season has gone on.
Well, one of those newer faces, Caroline Wong, coming from Liberty, she was sort of in that same boat too, as far as being unsure of what this team was going to look like. She said Coach G in the fall would say, you can do anything you want to do. You could go win a World Series. And she told us, are you sure we're looking at the right team? Like, I don't think this team's going to go to the World Series. She said it took her about a month into the season to really start buying in, but there were definitely some bumps early for this team.
Yeah, they figured it out, but it took some time, and Kenny Gajewski had to push that belief onto his team a little bit. But here they are. They're back at the World Series with the newcomers scoring more than half their runs, hitting about 60% of their homers. Edwards gets a piece of that 2-strike Rothrock pitcher. Here comes Keegan Rothrock, just cruising right along in her World Series debut. She's through 2 2/3 scoreless. The aforementioned Caroline Wong popped out her first time. And Wong, it appears, will pop out again. That's a 1-2-3 against Oklahoma State's 1-2-3 for Keegan Rothrock. Pitcher's duel. And Jessica Allister has been the player or the head coach for every Stanford World Series appearance. Absolutely spectacular night for Kenny Gajewski's Cowgirls, Tim Walton's Gators here at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. One of the great events, one of the great sights in college sports. This ballpark that was renovated 4 years ago, capacity of around 13,000, and we continue to run right up to that number. 12,000 plus, a Session 1 record to open the proceedings today, and another fantastic crowd on hand tonight. For the night session, Texas shut out Stanford, and now Oklahoma State and Florida. Ariel Kowalewski against Lexi Kilfoyle. Ball. You've been here a whole bunch of times. This is my 4th year covering it, and every year people say, I'd love to go to Oklahoma State. I'd love to see it. And my response is, get out here. This is a tremendous event. Great for families, great for kids. We see a bunch of them in the stands. And just the whole town is buzzing with the energy of this event. This is the place to be. USA Softball Complex has made great improvements to the facilities and the infrastructure here. It's a softball mad town. Down to third, here's Edwards.
Yeah, whether you are a softball fan or softball player, it should be on your bucket list to get here and take in a game here, or get a chance to be on the field here and play in this incredible atmosphere.
We see a lot of jitters for day one for players and teams that are here for the first time. Some nerves will maybe start to relax as the week goes on, but the pressure will continue to build. Kilfoyle, who's been here a whole bunch, and Rothrock, who hasn't, seem as calm and collected as can be so far. So freshman Ava Brown. There's a high strike by Kilfoyle.
I think it looked even higher than what it was because Wong had to reach for it because she was setting up on the outside corner.
Ava Brown, you may see in the circle at some point this World Series for Florida. She is their other pitcher. 33 games, 21 starts, 121 in the third innings. She is the regular first baseman when not pitching. That's a lot to ask of a freshman, to pitch, to hit, and to play first base. You are uniquely qualified to know how much that is to ask. What's it like to do all three of those at once your first year?
It is a lot to balance, along with the whole transition of playing at a higher level and doing all those things that you just mentioned.
A strikeout for Kilfoyle, her second of the game, as Brown goes fishing.
It's a changeup that gets some late break to it away from Ava Brown here. Leaves his pitch a little bit up, and I think it made it seem like to Brown it was a little bit faster than what it actually was popping in there.
Here's Mia Williams.
Interesting thing when I was looking at Lexi Kilfoyle's numbers is this year to last year, comparing her changeup. She's using her changeup the same amount. She will throw it about 13% of the time. She threw it exactly 13% of the time last year, but she's getting 8% more swings on her changeup through the zone and 10% less contact on the swings through the zone. So that swing and miss on her changeup has gone up from 24 to 34%. And still relying on her drop ball that she has used the most over the years, but actually throwing her drop ball 15% more of the time. So last year threw it 62% of the time. This year, 77% of the time with her pitch caller, Carrie Eberly, who was a drop ball pitcher herself.
Carrie Eberly was on the Oklahoma State staff. John Bartfeld, the pitching coach, retired. Kenny Gajewski would always call John Bartfeld the best pitch caller in the game. And he said, I feel like Carrie is getting into that zone. One of the things he likes is that Carrie disagrees with me a lot. So does Vanessa Shippey, our assistant. I like that. Williams flares one towards second base. The shortstop, Bloodworth, is there. Kilfoyle's allowed no hits. Rothrock's allowed one hit.
They're got to get the bottom half of the ball. We look like we're a little bit late, but I don't think it's probably as late from the movement. She's hitting her spot. She's dotting her, dotting the plate on the corners pretty well so far.
Keegan, back in the circle for you. You said she was so excited to get underway here at the Women's College World Series. What do you make of her start?
Yeah, good so far. Obviously, she's keeping us right there where we can and gives us a chance to make adjustments. When you go with a 0-0 game through 3, that's what she's been doing. She's really given us a chance this year. She's one of the main reasons we're here. Really proud of her performance so far.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
You guys go get her.
Alyssa, I really like the way that Keegan Rothrock is going hard into these Oklahoma State hitters. They have hit over 90 home runs, and she's not letting them get their hands extended, working them up and in. A lot of jammed, weak fly balls in contact coming all throughout the order. She's had some jammed pop-ups, even a strikeout. It's another one here. Just great location to get weak contact. So there's been 3 jam pop-ups like that and a strikeout as well in that inner half, being able to work on the edges and not let them get their hands extended.
So allowed just one hit, walk 2. Goes inside again. Add that one to the pop-up pack off the bat of Carly Godwin.
Pop-up pack, I like that. But you're right. I mean, another great location, just working this pitch a little bit off the edge of the plate and not letting them get their barrels out in front to that pitch. I mean, Godwin has so much power. That's a good spot there to just jam her, and it's an easy out for your infield or outfield.
Ball. So often we hear about young pitchers being afraid to throw inside. Sometimes we hear about young men being afraid to get popcorn chucked into their mouth from 2 feet away. Not here. Another pop-up. In on the fist again, and Erickson runs out of room against Rosie Davis. Why didn't we do that in between games, by the way? I had the skinny pop. I was waiting for somebody to play pop of popcorn with me.
Yeah, it's probably because it was a skinny pop and not the real thing. So, you know, if you had the real thing, maybe we could have played it. But skinny pop, not at the ballpark.
Are you doubting skinny pop?
I'm a skinny pop fan, but at the ballpark, I think you got to go real thing.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on a funnel cake, by the way. This is year 4 for me. I've seen a lot of funnel cakes in the monitor. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Got a lot of different snacks. Corn on the cob there, some nachos.
The husk to cob ratio is pretty strong there. Well, another one. And some more popcorn after another pop-up.
Well, and if it's not broke, I try to fix it. Keegan Rothrock again going to the inner half. I mean, this is the story right now for Rothrock against these hitters, is just being able to locate that pitch, throwing it about a ball off the plate, and Oklahoma State going after that pitch. That probably would be a ball, but they're being aggressive, and it's feeding into her jamming him.
Seven of her 11 outs in the air, Rothrock, including flyouts and pop-outs in that category. Claire Tim. 3 pop-outs in the inning. In on the hands, and still nobody onto the scoreboard.
Justin, we haven't done that very well. Jill's been the only one we've really hit hard. So we're going to have to just find it within ourselves to go up there and just trust it and let it fly.
Lexi Kilfoyle has been a stud for you all season long. What do you like about what you've seen from her so far?
She looks good. I mean, we'll see how they adjust now the second time through. But, you know, this is her. I mean, she's been great all year. She's been great against everybody that she's thrown against. So I expect her to keep throwing well.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a ground ball machine of the night for Lexi Kilfoyle. 10 scoreless against Florida this season. The next most scoreless innings by a pitcher against Florida is 2 2/3. That's ridiculous. That's Lexi Kilfoyle.
That goes to show, too, also how great Lexi Kilfoyle has thrown against them and how good this Florida offense has been all year. And Kendra Falby showing slap there. Remember, this Florida offense doesn't just have power. They have speed, too. Over 100 stolen bases for them. So I look to see them go to a little bit more of their short game, just continue to try to put the ball in play and put pressure on this defense on the ground.
2 swings and misses for Falby here. Kilfoyle retired Falby, Otis, and Wallace in order in the first inning. Only the 4th time in 65 Gator games that anybody's retired Falby, Otis, and Wallace together in the first inning. And Falby hits a ground ball to second, and she's retired again. Rosie Davis makes the play. These teams hoping to get to the Women's College World Series Finals, which will begin 6 days from today, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Now back in the game is left field number 33, Corby Oda.
10 outs for Lexi, 7 on the ground, only 1 in the air. Corby Otis. Oh.
You can see, too, Kilfoyle just working the edges of the plate. 40% of the time she likes to live, and this is on the season, that shadow zone just off of the plate. And tonight, 54% of the time she's going there. Not that one. That was brought back over the middle of the plate. But because she's so tough, she just spots her drop ball exactly where she wants to, and then alongside of that changeup, it makes her so tough to barrel up.
All-American versus All-American. Kilfoyle and Otis. Oh. Corby Otis, 57 walks, only 15 strikeouts. She is so good at seeing pitches and getting on base and setting up Skylar Wallace to succeed. And an off-speed strike floats over the outside edge.
On that pitch and a hitter's count, thinking that something 70 miles an hour is going to come. Instead, she pulls a string with a change.
Otis has only struck out 15 times. And she'll beat one into the dirt here.
I think it's tough, just the velocity that Kilfoyle is throwing with tonight. 71, 72, I've seen pop up on the gun. Coach Walton was talking about that heavy drop ball and that long stride of hers that gets out toward the end of the circle, and how these pitches are just getting on top of his hitters.
6-pitch to Otis. Corby Otis, a self-proclaimed hitting nerd, trying to solve Lexi Kilfoyle. Talk to us about learning about the kinetic chain to improve her swing.
Now you can just tell that she is brilliant. She does a lot of film work to see, in her words, the shapes of the pitch, where it's breaking, what the pitcher throws in different counts, and also what the mistake pitch looks like.
Otis down swinging. Just the 16th time she struck out this year. Some fire from Kilfoyle.
73 miles an hour, and that is more over the heart of the plate, but it tells you the movement and the glove popping that Lexi Kilfoyle is doing tonight with the drop ball. You see that over-the-top rotation. It is tumbling down and under the bats.
An extremely rare swing and miss for Corby Otis. And once again, it's the best time to face Skylar Wallace. 2 out, nobody on. Wallace has had a one-of-a-kind run here in her final season in college.
Skylar's had a really tough season, specifically in the month of April. She started the year leading the nation, hitting .475 through the first 2 months of the season. Then in April, she went 2 for 31 at the plate over a 10-game span. Florida lost 7 times. It was a really difficult stretch for her. She told us about how she'd go home to her apartment. She'd cry with her boyfriend. She'd cry during BP, out on the field during practice. But she's so willing and almost happy to talk about that journey she went through. When we asked her why, she said, so many young girls look up to me, and this being a sport of failure means everyone's going to go through the type of slump that I went through in the month of April. Her teammates said, we knew she was going to get out of it. As Kevin, you just described what her last month of May has looked like. They said, she's Skylar Wallace. Of course she was going to turn things around.
It's an amazing story, listen. We're so appreciative of Skylar for sharing it with us. 149 in April, 605 in the month of mayhem. That's ball 4. So Skylar Wallace, best base stealer in the SEC, works a 2-out walk. And now, player with the most RBIs in the SEC.
That's a great at-bat by Skylar to draw that walk, pass the bat to Jocelyn Erickson with 2 outs.
Carrie Eberle's out to the circle for the first time. There are a couple of Oklahoma State transfers, a couple of drop ball specialists, a couple of All-Americans in that conversation. 3 All-Americans, actually, with Caroline Wong. A little outfield meeting as well.
Everybody trying to get on the same page. And we said at the top of the show, this one could either be a 9-8 game with the offenses or could be a 1-0 game with the pitchers and the pitching matchup that we have with Rothrock and Kilfoyle. Every 60 feet and every pitch is going to matter.
Off speed to start, Jocelyn Erickson. Erickson walked her first time. She and Wallace, the only base runners tonight. Wallace taking big leads over at first. Only been caught 2 times in 38 tries. You don't get a lot of extra base hits against Kilfoyle. Well, the Gators go for it. On the ground to third, Edwards couldn't play it cleanly, and it's an E5 to extend the inning.
These hops can have so much spin on them because of the pitch, the spin that Kilfoyle puts on her pitches when it comes off the bat. It can eat you up at times, and that hop there eating up Talon Edwards, who moved from the outfield where she played last year to third base over to the hot corner. Florida in business with 2 on.
Edwards' 12th error of the year brings up Reagan Walsh. First pitch fouled away.
There's not been 1 out in the air against Kilfoyle. Continually getting the top half of the ball, beating the ball down into the ground. And that Mia Williams popped out to shortstop, so just the 1.
I've not seen Florida get a ball into the outfield yet. This is a Florida team that has home run hitters everywhere. Walsh with 17 more in the last 2 years combined. And the most doubles in the country as well. And they're not too deep despite all that power. Normally, Reagan Walsh, you might play with your heels near the warning track.
You see outfields play them a lot like that throughout the year.
Come on, Reagan, let's go, baby! You got that!
With the Walsh cheering section behind her, Reagan trying to fight out of an 0-2 count. She swung. John Baca calls it at the plate. Tim Walton looks befuddled. That's the way the inning ends.
She went up.
See? Grab 2 pieces of hot, juicy chicken, a side of mashed potatoes and gravy, and a biscuit for just $4.99. Son of a bucket, that's a good deal. New taste of KFC deals. Only at KFC.
Nighttime is the right time for tonight's starting pitchers between 5th-seeded Oklahoma State and 4th-seeded Florida. The 2 aces, the freshman and the graduate student, Rothrock for Florida and Kilfoyle for Oklahoma State, getting it done in different ways.
3 jam jobs for Rothrock in the top of the 4th inning. This is where she has been going up and into these hitters, been hitting this spot over and over again and getting Oklahoma State to swing at that pitch, even when it's off of the plate. But buckle up. We have a pitcher's duel. Only 1 hit in this game so far between these 2 pitchers.
I know slugfests are great, but how much fun is it to watch these 2 work?
I'm partial to the pitcher's duel myself.
1 single solitary hit. That was Lexi McDonald in the 2nd. She's due up 2nd in this inning. So the batter, Michaela Ward. For Oklahoma State, do you just have to start your swing a little earlier?
Yeah, and I would start taking these pitches that are ending up more off the plate. But that pitch that Ward just took there looked more over the heart of the plate, and she took it and then actually looked more aggressive to that pitch that was up and in her hands and out of the strike zone. So looking to see if they can get Rothrock to bring that pitch more out over the plate. That's a better swing right there.
That's an information pitch.
That is. Maybe even backing off the plate a little bit with where work is starting, understanding that Rothrock wants to work them up and in on their hands. That's a statement swing there to the rest of the dugout and to Rothrock in her pitch calling.
Went even further in. Michaela Ward, powerful hitter. Again, her career at Kansas, all Big 12 freshman team last year. 11 home runs down in the 7th spot. And a ground ball punch to Mia Williams. That's normally Lexi Kilfoyle's game.
Up and in again for the out location on that one. I'm just impressed with the way that the freshman pitchers in this opening day of the World Series have stepped up. Caitlin Terry threw well for UCLA, Tegan Kavan for Texas. Now Keegan Rothrock, the Gators.
Lexi McDonald.
McDonald, the only Oklahoma State hit. Florida had a tough season last year. They did not get to the World Series. They did not get to Super Regionals. In fact, they were unseeded, which never happens in the Tim Walton era. They went to Stanford and lost, and they had to replace their entire pitching staff this season. They bring in Rothrock. They bring in Ava Brown. They bring back nobody. They're the first team to reach the World Series without returning a single inning from the previous year since Washington in 2009. Remind me, who was on that 2009 Washington team?
I feel like I know someone. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. They won the national championship. McDonald into center field. That's well struck by McDonald and taken away. The Gold Glove winner, Kendra Fulby, tracks it down.
Kendra Fulby told us when she's in center field, the difference for her this year, she's leveled up defensively. I mean, she already started out great, but this year won the Gold Glove is knowing that she can catch any ball, that she can catch anything. When that ball is put in the air, Kendra Fulby knows that she can track it down, no matter if it's...
Even if I'm not hitting, I know I'm always going to be good in the field, and said defense is my calming area. That didn't look calm, but it was critical. Alexi McDonald, who has the only hit in the game, gets robbed of the second by Fulby. One of two Gators to win the National Rawlings Gold Glove, along with Erickson, her catcher.
Well, that was a great adjustment by Lexi McDonald. And, I mean, just the focus it takes for Kendra Fulby, who has seen all these just, infield pop-ups left and right all over the infield and just probably wanting to get in on the action. And she gets in on it in a big way. Jumped really early. I think expected to field the fence earlier than she did. Kind of an awkward landing, but big smile. The biggest smile that you'll see maybe out there on the field is a Kendra Fulby smile.
After a meeting in the mound, that 2-0 was way in on the hands of Megan Bloodworth. Florida, the best team in the nation by defensive runs saved. Against metric where every play is charted. Pitch framing goes into defensive runs saved.
And Oklahoma State has to feel better about their swings this inning off of Keegan Rothrock. Had that Michaela Work well-struck foul ball, and then that Lexi McDonald swing that just was punished.
Two. Well, just for some context, friends of 643 charts tell us that one wins above replacement, about 12 runs, 11.9. Florida as a team has saved 48 defensive runs, so they've added 4 wins with their defense alone. Add that to their great offense. Keegan Rothrock, you got yourself a stew that leads you to the World Series. Rothrock, a 1-2-3 fifth with a little help from her friends.
This is the catch.
Bend, save, and plan smarter with Erica from Bank of America.
Every time I needed a new phone, I had to switch carriers.
I told him. At Verizon, everyone can get that iPhone 15 on them.
Now that I got a huge storage and battery upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone. Verizon.
Just one hit between these two teams, Oklahoma State and Florida. Keegan Rothrock and Lexi Kilfoyle matching magnificence in the circle.
It's the location of her drop ball tonight on both sides of the plate and that hard movement down. She has been so tough to square up, and you see the pitch location living on the edge with her drop ball and her changeup, being able to mix speeds down to 58, bring it up to 73. I mean, she is bringing the velo today, and then being able to mix speeds with that changeup when she needs it and not being unpredictable with that pitch.
Remember, this is a Florida team that is one of the most patient in college softball. The lowest swing rate, 6th lowest chase rate. And yet Kilfoyle has them all out of sorts. Only 2 walks, no hits allowed. Very little in the way of hard contact. Katie Kistler, Ariel Kamalewski, and Ava Brown, 6, 7, and 8. Will try their hand against the ace of the Cowgirl staff. And Kistler takes one that sneaks over the front door. Katie Kistler, a senior, having a big season here for Florida. Always been a great fielder. She's hit for more power this year. 17 extra base hits. OPS of 912 in the 6th spot for Kistler. There is immense depth in this Florida lineup. Hit. Have you seen any adjustments the second time through for Florida?
I'm just looking at the outcomes, not so much. I mean, still getting the top half of the ball. Coach Walton was talking about trying to get more of the bottom half of the ball. Haven't seen, that one pop-up from Mia Williams, and that's about it. I think this has just been all Kilfoyle continuing to mix, and just so hard to get your barrel down to that drop ball with how heavy it is in terms of the velocity and movement with it.
It's her 7th game against a World Series team this year. She still has yet to allow an earned run. 3-2 for Katie Kistler.
Well, and this Florida team has seen a lot of drop balls as well throughout the year, hitting .315 off of the drop ball. They've actually seen the 2nd most drop balls in all of D1 this year. So they've seen a lot of this pitch.
Kistler down the left field line and foul. At least elevated it. The freshman Ariel Kamalewski and the freshman Ava Brown and the freshman Mia Williams. The Gator youth to follow the veteran Kistler. Going to see an 8th pitch. And she drills it down the line and right. That ball is fair and gone. The no-hitter and the shutout smashed into bits on one mighty swing from Katie Kistler.
It was the foul ball that she had before that led to this adjustment, and this drop ball more elevated, not going down as much, and she was just 100% ready for it. Look at that extension and the use of her lower half, committing to hitting the bottom half of the ball in this AB,
and we have a run here in the nightcap in Oklahoma City. The first Gator hit comes from Katie Kistler, the senior from Orange Park, Florida, with her first homer since April 5th.
And the first run that Florida has scored off of Lexi Kilfoyle this year.
Took them 11 innings. And they finally get to her. In fact, that's the first earned run Kilfoyle's allowed to a team at this World Series in 35 innings this year. 2 unearned runs, but that one was hard earned by Katie Kistler. Two strikes on Kamalewski. Tim Walton called Katie Kistler an A+ kid. He said, I want kids that play the game the way she does. Let failure brush off your shoulder. Ball. First time he saw her, you could tell she was long and athletic, had a big swing. She's gotten stronger. And actually starting to hit it out of the ballpark. Tradition at the World Series here. Family gets a home run ball. Kowalewski, that's deep into right field. That'll be tracked down by McDonald near the warning track. Beg your pardon, that's the new right fielder for Oklahoma State, Macy Graff, who makes a nice running play.
You could see the pitch location that was more elevated, and Kistler was new off the bat, went 277 feet. What a beautiful swing. Coach Walton has said that Katie Kistler has always hit good pitching. Actually, her sophomore year had the highest batting average. Run ball, OKC tradition. I mean, KK Clutch is the perfect sign to be holding after the Kistler home run. Her mom knew, she's always known.
The star, the hat, the pom-pom to prove it.
It was actually Katie Kistler, too, had 3 hits off of Lexi Kilfoyle the first time that, or in her career that when she's faced Kilfoyle. So that's the most hits on the Florida offense coming into this game. So having more confidence against Kilfoyle.
And here's Ava Brown with 1 out and 1 in. Oh! Oh! 2-0 for Ava Brown. Takes her a little more confident now. Swings are looking better. See if after the meeting with Carrie Eberly, Kilfoyle can readjust as her team suddenly finds itself in the rearview mirror.
Well, it's funny because you had just asked me, have you seen any adjustments from Florida up to that point? And really, through 4 innings, you didn't see as many. But the Kistler home run and the Kowalewski fly ball, just getting the bottom half of the ball now, that's the adjustment. This 5th inning is the inning where they're starting to do it.
Tim Moulton felt like this team was built for one game. They've got the cheering section from Gainesville to help support them. Bouncing ball to short. Bloodworth played that out very well. Saturday, a must-see matchup in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. We saw it the last 2 years in the NCAA tournament. We see it for the first time in the WNBA with the Sky and the Fever in Indiana. Noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app. And that bag is headed right up to the booth, I'm told.
Ooh, really?
You're very gullible. Oh, outside.
We have had kettle corn up there before, so.
That's true, we have. Yeah. So, I'm just saying. Watch your back. Funnel cake, kettle corn, one of these days. 2 out, nobody on. Mia Williams. Freshman with a lot of power. A scoreless game, a hitless game for Florida into this 5th inning. Until Katie Kistler's long home run down the right field line. Oklahoma State will have the top 3 in its order, 2 up in the 6th. Poulard, Edwards, and Wong. They don't have a hit since the 2nd against Keegan Rothrock, and suddenly they'll need to dig out of a hole. Oh. Texas awaiting the winner. Saturday night ESPN. The loser of the game has to turn around and play Stanford tomorrow. Strike 3, and Kilfoyle retires the final 3 in the inning. But she did not get the first one.
upgrade, I'm officially done switching.
New and existing customers get iPhone 15 on us when they trade in any iPhone. Verizon.
Build your future and Florida's tomorrow with a job in road and bridge construction. Competitive pay and great benefits. Start building your career with Florida Road Jobs today. Visit floridaroadjobs.com now.
Earlier today, UCLA softball making the Pac-12's last stand. Jordan Woolery's tie-breaking home run lifted the Bruins to a victory. They'll face Oklahoma, who smashed Duke in a run-rule win to begin its quest for a four-peat. Texas, looking for its first title, shuts out Stanford. 2 in the third, 2 in the sixth off of Nyjah Kennedy, and all the favorites by seeds have advanced to Saturday. Alabama, Duke, and Stanford hoping to avoid elimination tomorrow. The loser of this game plays 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 local, ESPN tomorrow night. And the winner of this game, Texas, on Saturday. Right now, Florida's in the catbird seat thanks to Katie Kistler's fifth-inning home run. The Gators' one and only hit. The at-bats have been starting to get a little better for both teams, and now Oklahoma State will rotate the order a third time through against Keegan Rothrock. 1 hit, 2 walks, nothing else for the Cowgirls against the National Freshman of the Year finalist. And Rothrock has retired the last 10 Oklahoma State batters. Jillian Poulard, Kenny Gaeski pointed out her swings, talking to Alyssa a couple of innings ago. And she takes ball 2. Number 34 of the 40 national champions have started the World Series 2-0. And only 10 of the 164 teams to lose their opening game have reached the championship series. Only 4 of the 164 have won the title. So you win today, you're not done, but the odds are not in your favor. Grade 2 for Poulard. First 4 years at McNeese State. Her final season spent with Stillwater's Cowgirls. And she pops one up. First base side. And Avery Gels is out there. The new Gator first baseman puts her away.
Keegan Rothrock just continuing for both lefties and righties to go up and in on the hands. When a couple of times Poulard got her jammed again. That ball keeps being put in the air, makes it easy outs for the infield.
Gels, typically a late inning defensive replacement, was there. And Corby Otis is here. 12 in a row set down by Keegan Rothrock.
Batting catcher number 66, Caroline Wong.
Caroline Wong has popped out twice. She's only seen 3 pitches, all strikes. Foul. How many times has Keegan Rothrock missed a spot tonight?
Not a lot, and I feel like the times that I do recall and printed in my brain, Oklahoma State has taken that pitch. Almost surprised by the one that is early in the count, right down the middle. Hasn't happened a lot. There've probably been 2 that I can think of. But other than that, she's gotten lucky. They have not swung at it, and she has just lived on the inside corner off the edge.
Caroline Wong still has not seen a ball in the game. And she'll put this one in play past the glove of Kowalewski. Oklahoma State's first hit sets the second.
And Lexi McDonald has had some good swings down in the 8-hole, and now a 2-strike hit for Wong, the veteran on the team, making an adjustment on the inner half. Instead of popping it up and getting jammed, it's more the top half of the ball and a hard hit ball through the left side.
Pitch runner for Wong, representing the tying run at first. It'll be Taylor Anderson. And here's Carly Godwin, who is, in the words of her head coach, blue-collar strong. Couple of home runs here in the tournament, 15 on the year, tied for the team lead in RBIs with Caroline Wong. Oh! Godwin, the freshman out of Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. Said she learned hitting from her dad. She was always a power hitter. He knows my swing. He knows my style of hitting. Even though he didn't play college baseball, said, I really don't know how he's so good, but he is. Ha! A player who told us she's literally just trying to hit the ball as hard as I can at all times and give Oklahoma State the lead with one big swing. And she chops one to third instead. And Keegan Rothrock has thrown 6 scoreless innings. Good day to be a freshman pitcher.
Her team, and then in the bottom half of the inning, it was a leadoff home run by Katie Kistler, bringing that energy from defense into the offense. And this very tight game, a 277-foot home run hit by Katie Kistler as a difference in the game.
And what do they always say? What's the cliche in softball or baseball? How often does a player make a great defensive play and then lead off 2 innings later? Okay, maybe that's not what they say, but Kendra Falby's leading off for the Gators in the 6th. Fun game, a 1-0 game with only 3 hits, but it has been exceptionally well pitched. Rothrock, her first appearance at the World Series, Kilfoyle, her 5th game on this stage. They've done it in different ways. Rothrock with a lot of fly balls and pop-ups and jam shots. Kilfoyle with a heavy drop ball, getting a lot of outs on the ground. They've both been nearly as effective, just one big swing. The difference in this game with the winner moving on to Saturday. And a ground ball to short from Falby. She is 0 for 3. Hard to ask for much more out of a pitcher against the Florida offense. Scoring 7.8 runs per game on the year. We mentioned that ridiculous Miami of Ohio team. Texas, Oklahoma, the only higher scoring teams, as we're playing how much kettle corn can one person fit in their mouth at once. Oklahoma's favorite pass. Oh, just throw it away. Yep, kettle corn for everybody. Give it to the OU fan, too. Otis, left center field, and there's a base hit for Corby Otis. The 2nd hit of the game for the Gators.
In these last 2 innings, there have now been 3 balls hit in the air. Florida continuing to make the adjustment. Corby Otis determined to get her barrel underneath the drop ball. In these later innings, you can tell that that drop ball has been a little bit more elevated. So from the commitment to make the adjustment from the Florida hitters to that drop ball being ever so slightly more up in the zone, it's led to some better swings.
I think she's excited for Skylar Wallace, understandably so. The SEC Player of the Year last season. Oh, Wallace takes ball 2. Just saw in that previous shot, Vanessa Shippey-Fletcher was bringing her outfield in. You never see outfielders play this shallow against Skylar Wallace. Poulard's way in center field. They might not need to play anywhere right now with a 3-0 count for Skylar. This is like Inception. If it's a walk, do you delete the video from your camera roll?
Yeah, for sure. You're going for the hit, maybe, but I mean, for sure you're trying to see a home run here. You're videoing it.
Ground ball to third, gobbled up by Edwards. What a throw to second, and a catch by Davis on a very good runner in Otis.
And that ball was well struck, and Talon Edwards handled it well to be able to make a quick transfer as she moved toward the line and then had to throw into the field. Good speed for Otis, good speed for Wallace. Look up the double play.
2 out, Jocelyn Erickson. One RBI from moving into sole possession of first place on the Gator list. And here comes Carrie Eberle. Well, Jocelyn Erickson is already a World Series winner. Spent last year at Oklahoma. Played some. Sooners obviously have a loaded team and great catching depth. Kinsey Hansen. Erickson was there. Sophia Nugent, who transferred to Tennessee, was there. So Oklahoma last year had the starting catchers of the teams that ended up being this year's 2, 3, and 4 seeds. And Tim Walton told us earlier in the year, watch Jocelyn Erickson in 7th and 8th grade. She was so good you just thought, oh, she's going to Oklahoma. There goes Wallace. And Schuyler is safe with steal number 37.
It was a good pitch to run on, too, because of the fact that it was a changeup. Schuyler got a great jump and goes straight into the bag, and that's what she needed to do to be safe. What a dynamic athlete Schuyler Wallace is.
Special at the plate, special on the field, special on the base paths.
You got to be careful if you're going down the zone here to Jocelyn Erickson, because her favorite pitch to hit is that drop ball. She hits it at a 500 clip. That's why you're seeing them work her a little bit more up in this at bat and change speeds. Hitting a changeup, 286, but that drop ball, she can drop her barrel down too, and that is Kilfoyle's favorite pitch.
The SEC stolen base leader at second. The SEC RBI leader takes ball 3. .411 with runners in scoring position. That's partly how you get to 80 ribbies.
That's a good swing right there, low and away. When you hear Coach Walton talk about Jocelyn Erickson, it is that she is an A-plus competitor, a dynamite athlete, and that she competes every time, back behind the plate and at the plate.
3-2. The last time the Florida batter got to a 3-2 count, they fouled away 2 two-strike pitches and then homered. Katie Kistler an inning ago. That was on the 8th pitch. This will be the 8th pitch. Ball 4 to Erickson.
That is 2 times in this game that Erickson has taken a pitch like that. That is right on the bottom of the strike zone, a call that some umpires are going to give it to you as a pitcher and some are not. But Jocelyn Erickson, I mean, she's a catcher. She knows the strike zone tonight because she's seen all these pitches. It helps her read the spin and have even more strike zone awareness than what she would have just as a Florida Gator hitter on its own.
Avery Gels is going to bat for the first time. Gell's typically a late inning defensive replacement for Ava Brown. In part because Gels is a good defender, in part because Brown is their other pitcher, so that'll enable her to get out to the bullpen sometimes. Gels has moved into the designated player spot here. She's ahead 2-0 as the Cowgirl fans are starting to get frustrated. John Baca not calling the low strike.
It's tough if you're Kilfoyle late in this game to not get that close pitch.
For the third double steal, Wallace is out. Caught stealing for just the third time this year. And Oklahoma State needs just one to tie.
What about... Do you have those budget markups? Thank you.
Welcome back to the Women's College World Series, presented by Capital One. Welcome back to the Keegan Rothrock Show. 6 scoreless for the Gator freshman in her first World Series game.
In the different levels that she's working on the inner half, up at the eyes, then belt high, and then right at the knees, has owned that inside corner both against lefties and righties.
About 3 freshman starters of the World Series today. Caitlin Terry went 4 scoreless for UCLA. Tegan Kavan, a 1-hitter. Keegan Rothrock working on a 2-hitter. Tegan and Keegan carving up the night session against Stanford and Oklahoma State, respectively, in a 1-0 game. As Rothrock's first pitch of the inning takes a little funky spin past her glove. It ends up at Mia Williams' spot at second. She throws out Rosie Davis. And Keegan Rothrock has retired the leadoff hitter 7 straight innings.
And you can tell how aggressive that Oklahoma State's hitters have been in this game. Rothrock has just thrown 87 pitches.
It's her 41st start, the most in the nation. A lot of wear and tear on that right arm in the postseason. She started every single postseason game, but she's managed to be brutally efficient tonight. 1-0 to Claire Tim.
And Coach Walton said coming into the season that we're only as good as our pitching. That is probably an understatement for every program in the country, but he said at the end of the day, you have to have your pitchers pitch big in the big games. It's almost like he's won a couple of national championships or something, or he knows how to win.
Yeah, almost like it. Almost like he's the second fastest Division I head coach to 1,000 wins. Only behind Mike Candrea. Tim Walton going into the Hall of Fame this year. He'd love to go there with the 3rd championship. 12th trip to the World Series. Left side from Tim, that's out of play. Claire Tim, a sophomore with 55 hits. 22 for extra bases, including 10 home runs. She only started 3 games last year. She was giving Kenny Gajewski great at-bats this season. Doesn't walk a ton. And she skies one into left center, but Falby was perfectly positioned. And Florida's 1 out away from a Game 1 win here at the 2024 World Series.
With the power of Michaela Work and this Oklahoma State team that has hit 92 home runs on the year, it is just not over until it's over.
Under that big swing, the foul ball in their last at-bat. Wart, big swing here. Primary cleanup hitter for last year's World Series team. Batting 7th in this deep lineup today. 0-1 from Rothrock. On the inside edge. And Oklahoma State has 1 strike remaining. Oh, 2. Cowgirls had 2 on, 2 out in the first. Rosie Davis popped out. It was their last real rally. A 2-out single in the second by McDonald. A 2-out single in the sixth by Wong. It has looked like a breeze for Keegan Rothrock.
Kevin, when you look at the way that she's just been able to spin her pitches and the velocity that she throws with, I mean, Tegan Kavan and Rothrock are a lot alike in that sense. When we talk about freshman pitchers that pitch with good velocity, like to go up in the zone, and they both have very good tight spin.
Popped up by Warwick. Wallace is there, and Florida is a 1-0 winner behind the brilliant right arm of Keegan Rothrock. The World Series last year, that was uncharacteristic. Now they are in the winner's bracket. Kelly Barnhope, 2-hit LSU in 2017 in the World Series, and 7 years later, Keegan Rothrock, who reminds